catalyst for change with the chance to thrive. Crystal is the one to stir up gifts and save lives. You get exposure, promotion, and marketing too. And advertise for business owners just like you. On Storytime, your interview is global. Virtual or in person, just come on the show. Yo, your story matters. Crystals will open the door. 40 years of experience, ready to give you more on Storytime. Get ready for Storytime. Hey, come on.
Well, good evening. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome to Story Time. I know you see that picture in front of me. This is who we have tonight. I'm so excited because I have a special friend that I've known out here in the community for a long time, Mr. Lester Thomas, and we are so excited to be able to be interviewing him tonight. So I want you to get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready. It's going to be a good one, y'all. If you know this gentleman, then you already know how fulfilling this is going to be and how enlightening this is going to be to even talk about the life of Mr. Lester Thomas. So we are excited. This has been a long time coming. And so I am excited. So I'm going to move myself out of the way so we can get this thing going. So I want to say hello. How are you? And thank you for being here. I want to give you a few rules. A few things that I'd like to ask you to do while you're here today. Okay, if you just joined us in the room and you just got here, I want to first say thank you so much for being here. And I want to ask you to do us a favor. Okay, I want to ask you to do us a favor. I want to ask you right now to tell a few people that you're here. Go ahead and share this live. Wherever you're coming in from, I want you to go ahead and share this live and tell a few people that you are about to find out about Mr. Lester Thomas, and share the live for us, okay? And that's not hard, right? That's just one simple thing we ask people to do every now and then. And the other thing that we always like to ask you to do for us is to simply like, share, and comment. Like, share, and comment. It doesn't cost you anything to do those things, to like, share, and comment. So if you can do that for us, we would really, really, really appreciate it. So every now and then you'll see a reminder where I'll ask you to do that. I'll simply ask you to like, share, and comment. And I see some of you already in here. So thank you so much for being here. We are excited. We are excited. And we can't wait. We know that Lester is here. We know he's ready. So once again, we ask you to share it with some friends, no matter what platform you're on, and just simply like, share, and comment, and let us know where you're coming in from. That way, Lester will know you're here. Okay. I see already a few people coming in, but I will recognize you in a moment once I bring Lester on. So I want to say thank you for being here, but I'm giving you time to let some people know. But I already see you, Pauline and Kendall. I see y'all there. I see someone from Dallas. I see Shani Delamore Barracks. I don't want to mess nobody's name up, from Dallas already in here. And I already see Oxford, Georgia. I already see you, Teen Campus from Oxford, Georgia, in the building already. So thank y'all for coming and keep letting people know you're here. I also see someone else from Georgia. I see you from Georgia. Emerge. I see you in here from Georgia. So thank y'all for being in here. Keep letting the people know you're here. I think I hear somebody knocking at the door. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up my friends. I know they're here. Lester and Karen are in the building already. So I'm going to go ahead and bring them up and just welcome them to the show. Lester, Karen, are you there?
Yes, we're here. Well, I want to thank you very much, Miss Birdie. I've known you for a while, and I know the great things that you've done, and knowing people in our way who helps us, and just we need people of you. And I really want to thank you with all my work, and I thank you in God's life and the great things that you've done and helped me and my wonderful wife here, and the great things that she's have done. And I just want to thank you for the things that you've done and the community that you've been in. And it makes me feel real happy to know that it gives me what I need to continue to work with you. I thank you both.
Yeah. No problem. Yes. And Karen, how are you this evening?
Crystal, I am wonderful. This wonderful Palm Sunday. What a beautiful day to actually celebrate the Easter season and actually to celebrate Lester and all the wonderful work he's done in the community. And while we are here, I also want to welcome our friends, Kendall and Pauline from Georgia. I don't know who the other person is from Georgia, but it's probably one of Lester's friends who lives in Georgia. And then a close friend of ours, Shani Delamore Barracks, who has Kendall and Pauline and Shani have supported the Ujima Group and Kwanzaa and Black History. Let us not be remiss in reminding those who are joining in the conversation that the Ujima Group not only sponsored and co-hosted with the town of Cary an annual Kwanzaa celebration for 28 years, also sponsored and co-hosted with the town of Cary as a partner Black History events and other events. So we would be remiss if we didn't share with this viewing audience that Kwanzaa is kind of the flagship cultural event, but there are so many other events that we have hosted and sponsored over the span of more than 28 years as the Ujima Group.
And you're correct, because I have to tell you how I met Lester. I met Lester while we were both doing something out in the schools. I think I met you, Lester, in Enlow High School. I believe when I met Lester, it was about 1993 or somewhere around there. And I had my partner who was not with us anymore. And we were, I think it was with the 69 boys, if I'm not mistaken. We had taken the 69 boys into Enlow High School, and Lester was in there doing what he did. I think he was at Hillside at the time, and he was coming through doing his community work. And that's how we initially met. So not just the things culturally enriching, but also working with the future leaders and the next generation. So I know that we have that in common. Is that correct, Lester? You have a big passion for the young people, correct?
That is true. That is very, very true. And one of the things I want to say with Ms. Bovey is that she has been a leader. She knew what needed to be done without a lot of small talk. She puts people right at the part of what has to be happened and make things happen, because she tells you it's no time to play around or to jab a ride. It's time to get work done. And she stayed moving. And that's the beautiful part. And the people that I've had work through life has been good a part of my life. And it makes me feel so good to see that still happening at this time of my life. And I thank God for that.
Yeah, because guess what? We're not getting no younger, Karen. We all aging, man. So, I mean, I thank goodness that we're here, that we can have these conversations, because as we age gracefully, we have to be thankful. We have to be thankful, and of course, we all have challenges as we age, but we're just thankful for what we do have, because it's a journey. It's a journey for sure, And there's so much that I want to talk about, so much that I want to cover before I even show a couple of things, because I put together a slideshow just to give a snippet of a recap of some of the things that y'all have done. And I also want to go to something I found online for the city and how they recognize Lester, because we know this is a man that has been recognized over and over again. But before I do that, I want to tell you something, Karen. As a person who has been through hospice 3 times with my family and watched over my sister, I want to commend you. I want to commend you for what you do, for being there, because I want that to be noted. I definitely do appreciate you. A lot of times they say people, you find your helpmeet, you find your soulmate. And from what I can see and what I've seen over the years, Lester hit the jackpot with you. He hit the jackpot with you. You have been there through it all, personally and business and everything that I've seen. You've always been there with him. So I want to commend you for being there. But because behind every good man, there's always a good woman. So I want to make sure that I give you your flowers too through this. This is the Lester Thomas story, but there is no Lester Thomas without Karen. You understand what I'm saying? So I want to recognize the the part that I've seen, and I know Lester can add to that, but I want to say from a outside point of view that I commend you for being there with your man, for standing by him in business, for standing by him with his family, for standing by him with his health, for standing by him in his life and all his career choices, and being that person he needed to help him to achieve everything that he had on his heart and mind. And so,
oh, thank you for that, Crystal. I appreciate that. And before you show any of the videos and the slideshow, I want to piggyback on a couple of things. You mentioned you met Lester at Enloe High School back in the day, and I just want to say that education comes in many forms, right? We are all in some way or another an educator, whether it's professionally in the classroom or just through community engagement. In my line of work, we are all at some point, educators. And I say that because that's been one of Lester's passions. To educate, to inform, to engage community. And I would be remiss if I did not just share this one little story very quickly before we move on. Because, as a television producer, that hour, the hour and a half, whatever you plan will go so quickly.
Well, let me do this. I'm going to spotlight you to do that because I think it's important. And by all means, yes, things that I wouldn't know. So I definitely want to give you the opportunity to go ahead and give us the prelude, so to speak, and also the other thing I always do is before you go into anything for his career, I always start with the child. I always start with who was Lester Thomas, the little boy. So if it's okay with you, I want you to do what you're going to do. But if it has to do with his career or anything that he's achieved, then I would ask you if you can hold it a minute so we can just start from who Lester was as a little boy. But if it had to do with him as a child, then I'll tell you to go ahead.
Well, the only thing I can say about Lester as a child, he has many, many stories. We can't share all of them. But if you listen to him, if you take the time to just really sit and listen to him, he will tell you that at the core of his being is family, right? It's family. And he always shares these stories about his mother and his grandmother and his father and his uncle. He had an uncle that was a merchant marine, and he shares a story about that. He had an uncle that was a chemist, okay? And he had an uncle, if you look him up, is it Tanny Hill?
Mm-hmm.
Who was a famous jazz musician back in the
Wow.
day. I think that's why he had such a love for jazz. That was his foundation. And so I will let you proceed with your program because the story I want to share has more to do with how he, as an educator, has impacted young people.
Okay, cool. Definitely. We're going to definitely get to that. But Les, I just want to ask you something. Take us back to Lester the little boy. I believe that we have something else in common. You're from New York City. Take us a little bit back to New York City. If you can just give us a little bit of history about where you're from and, if you have any siblings or anything like that, and what brought you to North Carolina, if you recall.
I grew up in Harlem.
Okay. I did too.
Was a place to learn so much because my grandmother, my father, and all of my family understood the importance of getting an education and hard work and doing the right thing in their community. And it made me respect those who wanted us to have a chance to get an education to do better. Even though we grew up and we were poor, but we worked hard and we wanted to do the right things that makes our family proud of us. And we wanted an education so that we would continue to move forward. Even though we didn't have a lot of money, we always knew that we wanted to make our family proud of us.
Wow, that's good. That's good. That's true. Now what part of Harlem? I was from Wagner Project, 125th between 1st and 2nd. Where were you in Harlem?
Say it again.
I said I was in Wagner Projects, 125th Street between 1st and 2nd Avenue. Where were you in Harlem?
Homegirl, huh? We lived on 100th Street between Lexington and Park and Lexington.
Okay. See,
Yes,
see,
he was
see.
like
I
that.
didn't realize that. See that, Karen? We didn't even realize that. I really missed that part. Excellent. So, when did you come to North Carolina? As a teenager or after you finished school? When did you come to North Carolina as a grown man?
Mm, that was a good point because my parents, even though they came in, my grandmother, they came from Macon, Georgia. And when they came from Macon, Georgia, they were trying to get away from slavery. And they had to come back from being in that area and wanted to bring their family from Manhattan because they wanted for us to have an education. Because back during that time, slavery was a really strong thing. And we wanted to get an education so that we could do better to make our family going better.
And
Because
so when did you come to North Carolina?
oh, I can't
19.
Was
remember.
it after college? Was it to go to college, or was it just what brought you here? Do you
Oh,
recall what brought him here, Karen?
when we
Long story.
hmm?
Long story. When did you move here? 1989?
Well, when we came from New York, it was to get an education.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so you came to school. You attended school here in North
Yes.
Carolina.
Mhm.
Okay, where did you go to school?
Virginia State.
Oh, Virginia State. Okay, what's that? Is that a Trojan? What are Virginia State? Are those Trojans?
I have no idea.
Okay, so you went to Virginia State. Good, good, good. So, how
Okay.
do you like living in North Carolina versus being in New York? Do you prefer the South or do you like it better in New York City? Which you like better? Because you stayed, obviously, you must like it because you stayed.
Well, I wanted to do the best I can, and I wanted to get that education. So it made me understand what I had to do. And coming to end to children education, I knew that I wanted to do the best I could. And when I went to Enbridge School, that made me know that I had to do a good job.
Excellent, excellent. And then Karen, now you said that he did some stuff with the students. So I know he came and he started working with the students. And I know you talked about him doing the dissertation and all those things. Now, what was the story that you wanted to tell me about him and his impact with the students?
Okay. So quickly from what I know, Lester moved here in about 1989 and began to pursue some of his dreams and aspirations. We met later after he moved here. We won't go into the details of that. What I wanted to say is because education is important, one of the things that I think is important is as we touch the lives of young people, it always feels good and gratifying to know that you touched one. If you just reach one, then you have made your mark on someone else's life. And so
Yes.
last Saturday, we were out. It was a beautiful day. We were at the mall, South Point, had lunch, had dinner at one of our favorite restaurants, Cheesecake Factory, not trying to advertise. And as we were going back through Macy's, we ran into one of Lester's students from Hillside. And
Wow.
he said, "Hey, Mr. Thomas, how are you? I'm so-and-so." And they looked and I took a picture, should have given it to you. They hugged, they talked, they chatted. And Lester said, "Well, what are you doing now?" He said, "I'll be graduating in May." And we were like, "Oh, good. Congratulations. Where from?" He said, "Central." "In what?" "In business and finance." And what did Lester teach at Hillside?
Yes.
What
yes,
did you
yes.
teach at Hillside?
Hillside, he learned from education.
Right. What did
Did
you
he teach business there also? He taught business and finance?
You taught business and finance, right? The principles of business and finance?
Yes, he was. He was teaching me a lot of good things and the importance of education and to continue to work hard in that endeavor.
Wow.
Okay.
So
So
that's
that
good.
was
So
that
the
was so
student is taken after him.
exactly. And I just thought it was so wonderful that this young man said, because of you, this was my career track and I'm graduating in May. And so I just thought that was very uplifting to
It
me.
is because
So,
sometimes we never know what we instill in these students. And a lot of times they don't have anyone at home to encourage them. So it is encouraging. Well, let's get started. I want to first share with you something that I have here that I pulled up that WRL did. Like I said, I know that Lester has been recognized by so many, but I wanted to share this first because this is just one award that I saw that the city gave him. So I'm going to bring this up so we can share it and take a look at it. And so you'll see what it looks like when I do this here. And let's go ahead and bring it up so we can see it. Just a second. It kind of speaks for itself. One moment.
During Black History Month, we honor those outstanding individuals who are living the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King.
In this year's final installment, WRL's Micaiah Thurman introduces us to a man dedicating his life to educating students, both in the classroom and out.
So what I have to do, get education.
As a teacher at Hillside High, Lester Thomas shapes the next generation.
Education is a very significant part of my life.
After decades in the school system, Thomas says he discovered a disconnect between his students and their understanding of Black history.
And I wanted to find a way that I could be able to give back to help my community.
To do that, he started a nonprofit and created an annual Kwanzaa celebration to allow community members to learn more about African American heritage.
One of the things we try to do is to get the next generation ready to embrace Kwanzaa, to understand their history and their legacy.
The Kwanzaa celebration features music, dancing, and plays. Over the last 20 years, hundreds of students have participated.
I love being able to say that I was exposed to something that, would fortify my confidence in, myself and in my culture.
Thomas's program has not only helped his students, but it's now educated the Triangle community. It's because of his dedication, both in and out of the classroom, that we honor him with our final 2016 Living the Legacy Award. Micaiah Thurman, WRAL News, Durham.
Wow. So congratulations on getting that award, that Legacy Award. How did that make you feel, Lester, when you got that award? How did that make you feel?
Well, during that time, I knew the importance of working with adolescents, kids, my community. And I needed that. I'd have to work with them in order to give them the energy they need and to understand the importance of education and how to do it. I also learned about the job that I had and how I had to work with them and know what I do and know what I had to give to our community. So it kept me busy to do a good job, not only learning, but teaching as well. And it made me appreciate and love what I was doing with my job.
Excellent, excellent. And a lot of teachers are just getting a paycheck, Karen, or some of them don't love the job. You know what I mean? So Lester definitely took it to heart and he wanted to make the impact, and he cared. So it's obvious that you cared, Lester. So that's amazing. And I know you were very proud too, and the family was very proud. Correct, Karen?
Oh yeah. It was the young lady in that video, Tabitha, has an interesting story to share about her family. Her entire family would come to the Kwanzaa celebration every year. Mm-hmm. And there's an interesting story that her mother, God rest her soul, she's passed away. She shares the story about how excited they were to meet Dr. Karanga when Dr. Karanga came. Well, I don't know. I think it was the first time he came here, or the first time that I had an opportunity. He came as the keynote speaker for Kwanzaa 3 times. And the first time he came, the event was at the Herb Young Community Center, and everyone loved that venue because it felt like a village. Everything happened in the center of the stage, but all around the parameter of the gymnasium were vendors, tons of vendors, lots of vendors. And so the kids met Dr. Karanga, and everyone was excited to meet, the founder, the creator of Kwanzaa, the whole importance and celebration.
Wow.
And so her son, the youngest one, went back to his school, you know, when you go back to school after the holidays and you share what you did, and this little boy shared with the teacher that he met Dr. Karanga.
Wow.
Went to the details of education and how sometimes teachers don't really understand culturally the importance of appreciating a child's enthusiasm and learning from the child, as we said, teaching and learning. And she told the child that, no, you didn't meet Dr. Karanga.
Wow. She thought it was the child's imagination.
Yes, imaginine. All but called him a lie and told him Dr. Karanga was dead. And imagine how devastating that is for a young Black boy, right?
Wow.
Later. And he went home devastated. Needless to say, the mother took care of that. So I don't want to, you know, muddy up this interview with that. But again, that just goes to show the type of people that were keynote addressees at the annual Kwanzaa celebration. You know, Dr. Karanga, Dr. Naeem Akbar, famous, renowned journalist Tony Brown, Dr. Claude Anderson. We had a lot of local people, Dr. William Barber. So there were so many people in our community that Lester brought to the stage.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
To inform us.
Yes, he did.
To inform us. And so when you talk about this Kwanzaa and the community that he built, just the talent that came, so even supporting the vendors, it is a story to tell, undoubtedly.
Yeah, and you know what? You almost need your own museum, Lester, because you have so many great pictures. You have so many great illustrations. You have so much culturally enriching visual, you know, displays that people that missed it can still almost feel like they're there just looking at the stuff that you have. So I want to commend you, Lester, for the way that you carried out this vision. What made you think to do this? What made you want to do these events here? Do you remember what it was that made you want to start all of this back when you created the Eugenia Group? Do you know what it was that made you start it?
Well, I knew that if I was going to be something in my life, I would have to work and to do a good job and to learn what I had to do that. And my father was very smart, and my grandmother, she always kept me to respect my parents and my grandmothers. And respect was very important as something, because that was something that you wanted to do, and that's what you learned when you were a kid. So I know the importance of it.
So it sounds to me like because they instilled that respect in you, yes, and everything that they taught you and showed you, it gave you the idea that you wanted to give that to the community. You wanted to make sure the community had that, and you wanted to empower them the same way. That's my interpretation of that, that you wanted them to feel as empowered as you did. And I commend you for that, because you carried it out so well. You carried it out so well. And what I want to do to give the people who might not have ever met Lester Thomas in person, I want to give them a visual of that. I want to let them see what this looks like. And then as I do that, then we'll come back and we'll talk about different parts of it. We'll talk about the part that really touched y'all the most. I know there was so many good speakers. I know there was so many good vendors coming at you, so many business opportunities that you helped those vendors because they were able to set up and sell their products. So that was good. So many good community events that you gave people in the Cary, Durham, Raleigh, the whole Triangle area to go to that might not have never had that experience. It was almost like a Harlem experience. You almost gave them a trip to New York. You know what I mean? Because it was a great experience. And you know, we know what it's like when we would go down 125th Street, right? But you brought that here. So I commend you for that. And that's truly what you did. So I want to definitely let the people see. And Karen, do you want to add anything to that? Do you recall when he first did it? Had y'all met yet? And were y'all together when he did the very first one?
No, the very first one was done in conjunction with Raleigh Men's Council and Mount Zion Baptist Church. Is that right, Lester?
Yes,
Okay, he did it with the church. Okay, good, good.
And the pastor that supported that was Reverend Lewis.
Okay.
Right.
And so I do remember seeing some paperwork like that. So that's good. So and then from there, he took it on and he gave it a life of his own. It's like he got a light bulb went off and he said, you know what, I'm going to do this.
Well, and you know what I think, because I think maybe the first and second, third, I wasn't involved until maybe the third year in 1997. And I think the first couple of years, it was at Mount Zion Church, and then it moved to Herbion Community Center. And so I believe, this is just Karen speaking, I believe what happened as Lester was building momentum and becoming civically engaged in other aspects of community in Cary, the powers that be began to notice,
right,
and decided that this was something that warranted support. And over time, Lester built a relationship with, I think there were a couple of people, see a couple of slides with a couple of the mayors. Lester was talking about this just the other day. He built a relationship with Mayor Coco Booth and someone else, Mayor Glenn Lane. He built a personal relationship with them. Respect was the foundation of that. And they were willing to support whatever he asked for, facility use. And then eventually, I think leadership realized that this was something important and that they needed to fund it. So it became a line item in the budget.
Excellent. And that's amazing, Lester.
It is.
That's amazing, Lester, for you to create something to make the city change the budget, to add a line item. You understand what I'm saying? You know how powerful that is, Lester? You know how powerful that is for you to get them to add a line item to the budget? You a bad mamma jamma. You know that?
Well, you know, I had to understand the importance of working your job and at the same time helping the kids in the community.
Yeah.
So even when I was going to work, I had to go and teach, because teaching was very important, and I had to go to work. So I was doing both of them because I always tried to help the kids to get an education and to understand the importance of the good of education. And a lot of what I did was free.
Yes.
And, you know, people were saying,
yes,
do you want to do it? I said, hey, I know, look, whatever.
And you didn't want to charge. See, that was coming from the heart. So that's beautiful. So you were doing community events while teaching in the schools, while taking care of your family, and having a heart and passion to empower people. So that is absolutely amazing, Lester. That is amazing. Let's take a look at the slideshow so the people can see just a little bit about what this looked like over the year. There is no way. I'm going to tell you, if you are not Lester's friend, make sure you go to Facebook and look at Lester Thomas. If you go to Lester Thomas on Facebook, and the photos, it's a public page. If you scroll through there, oh my goodness, you'll see so much. You'll see so much. But this is just a snippet, and we'll come back. Just give us a minute to check this out. Wow, you like that? How you like that?
Crystal, that was so heartwarming. Thank you.
You're welcome. Y'all did a lot of traveling too. Lester, where have you been that you really love the most as far as all the places y'all have visited? Have you been to Africa? Have y'all been to Africa?
Not yet. It's on the what am I trying to say? It's on the bucket list.
Okay.
I would think gee whiz, Lester's a water person, so he loves the beach. So maybe Cancun when we went to the bullfight.
The bull.
Oh, I love Cancun.
Yeah.
Yes. What did you say?
And we killed the bull. That was the
Love
first
it.
time we went. Where we go?
Cancun.
Cancun.
Cancun was
Yeah.
humid too, hot. It's hot there, right? Unless it was real hot, right? Yeah,
And
very, very hot.
The bullfight was very exciting, and they killed the bull.
Yes. Now, Lester, you also are a grandparent. You have a grandchild, right? Do you have one or two? Y'all have some grandchildren?
Yes, I do.
Several.
I have my son and my daughter.
Okay, and they have children?
And good. So,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Granddaughter.
Wow. So how exciting is that? I know. So now all the teaching, since do you miss being in the classroom with the students in the classroom? And do you try to find yourself teaching the little grandchildren? Because I know you miss being in the classroom, right? Because you were in the classroom for how long?
Well, I had a little
How long were you in the classroom? How
How
long did you teach?
in my life.
Yeah, how long? You've taught all your life, right?
How old am I?
Speaking of, do you want to share how old you are?
56.
No.
66.
No.
70.
70.
70.
You
Yeah.
just had a 70th birthday and you don't look it, man. How do you feel?
Well, I work out and that makes me feel good. And I lost some weight, so I feel good there. And I'm getting a little older, and I don't work out 5 days a week. Maybe about 3 or 4, a little more, to just sort of rest a little. I've been a little tired. I'm trying to get myself back together, and I've been working out and getting everything back to where it should be.
Excellent. Because I know that you had a few bumps in the road, but we want to let you know that we're happy that you are working out and doing everything you can do to get yourself back to where you need to get back to. So that's encouraging and it's inspiring because all of us don't ever know what our journey is going to be like. So we appreciate you for showing us what perseverance looks like.
Exactly. He has a personal trainer. We don't want to get off the subject too much. As a personal trainer, and she really works you out, doesn't she?
Excellent. Personal. That's good. That's really good. It's good to have someone to do that because I think it's important that people understand. And it's also good to have conversations like this to keep the mind active and to go into things because that's so important. So now, Karen, Lester had education as a background, and I know you started to tell me some stuff about what he did his dissertation in, and I want to recognize somebody wrote something here. Hey, Lene, how you doing? Thank you for joining. I want to say that Shani said Lester and Karen are such wonderful pillars in the community, and she said that you are his rock, and that's why I said so. So other people recognize it too, Karen. So again, kudos to you because we know it's not easy. It's definitely not easy. It takes a village. And so we want to say we salute you for all that you do. And I know that Lester says that too. But now, in regards to becoming an educator, in order to do that, a lot of times they have to do dissertation. And so do you recall what Lester did his dissertation on?
Lester's, well, I know he wrote a book. Gosh, I wish I could remember the title of it. But the focus of the thesis focused on character education, and
wow,
he wrote his book. He was pursuing his doctorate while teaching at Kittrell. And if folks don't know about Job Corps is a program for young people who may not fit in a traditional classroom setting. But it still is an opportunity for young people to get their education and to pursue higher ed if that's something to want, if that's something they want to do, or to go into a trade or some other type of work opportunity. And while there, I think Lester realized that he had, which is really smart, he had a great sampling, right? For which to write his dissertation. And so he used that sampling with, of course, permission from the administrators to write his book on character education and the importance of that being a foundation for anyone who want to succeed in education. And it really takes a person who has strong character, strong integrity, respect for others to succeed in this world.
It does. It does. And now, Lester, when I saw you a couple of weeks ago, you also mentioned that you're still not done. You're still not done. You want to get yourself to a place where you could do something else. Do you want to talk about what it is that you would like to do if you get the opportunity? What is it that you still want to do? Because you still want to do some things for the community, don't you?
And when I was working for that dissertation, I was working full time, and I was going to school, and I was going to bed early and getting up because I had to finish all that work. And I was so tired, I can't even explain it. But I was still working full time and finishing school. And it made me a better man to really understand the importance of an education.
Your education is definitely important. And getting sleep is important too, Karen. So that's important. And now it is good that people understand if they're thinking about going for higher education that you have to be disciplined because you're going to have to be able to do the work, get your rest, and you may have to work too. So you may have to be able to work and juggle. So we thank you for sharing that, Lester, because people do have to know that they have to be able to juggle. And nowadays, people are doing online and stuff, so they definitely have to be responsible. They have to be responsible. You know, Karen, let me ask you something. For any woman who might be watching, how challenging was it to have a person with the ambition and the drive that Lester had, the vision that Lester had, to be able to be supportive? Any advice to anyone who may have someone that is in your shoes that don't quite know how to do that, how to be supportive and help them to be as successful, because you were an integral part of his success?
Oh, thank you for that, Crystal. Wow. I think if you have someone in your life, partner, husband, wife, and they have desires to do more, if they have aspirations to pursue a business, advanced degree, whatever it is, then it is your responsibility and duty to be supportive. You know, marriage is 50-50, 60-40, 70-30. Sometimes it's 90-10. Wow. And so it is important to understand that if this person has a heart to succeed and aspire for an advanced degree, it is your responsibility for you to have that same heart and to share in that, because him succeeding rubs off on me. I succeed, you know? And so what I can tell you about observing Lester during that time is really the discipline. It really is. It wore me out. Just the discipline, getting up in the morning. Well, let's just here's an illustration. Lester can be regimented and very disciplined, and I watched him at night. He would prepare his clothes and everything for work, his gym bag. In the morning, he's up, showered, dressed, breakfast, making coffee for me. Thank you. and getting himself ready to go to workout and then go to work. And at this time, he was traveling an hour away to go to Kittrell, working all day, coming home, eating dinner, hitting the books, but it was regimented and there was a schedule.
Wow.
Nothing happens without a schedule, right? So
Yes.
that you can stay on point and
Yes.
do what you need to do. And then I would watch him on the weekends, attacking his schoolwork, whatever it was, research, writing, whatever it was, for 8 hours like he was at work. And sometimes I say, you need to get up from the computer and take a break. And he would take breaks. Watching that discipline. And I mean, he was working 7 days a week, full-time job in education. And so I admire him for doing that. Then add to that planning Kwanzaa or Black History.
Right.
Things Les would always say right around July, August, September, October, November. He would start right then. He would say, we are X number of days away from Kwanzaa. And he would do this countdown. We are 90 days from Kwanzaa. We are 60 days from Kwanzaa. We got 30 days from Kwanzaa. And Kendall, who is on the call, understands what that was like when we got down to a week or 3 days before Kwanzaa. Quick story, when Kendall would come up with Pauline, they would get in the garage and they would start to work. They put on their house music and you would watch these two men who grew up together work as a team. They had a rhythm.
Wow.
And was
house music.
Wonderful to watch that. Yeah, house music. It was wonderful watching them plan how to execute everything from 2-3 days before to loading up the van to setting up on the day of, breaking down and all of that. And so I want to personally thank Kendall and Pauline for rolling up their sleeves and helping us do that for several years. So I know that was a long.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's important because that means that not only your input was valuable, but having a good team is valuable too. Having good help, reliable help. And y'all had like a good team for years. Y'all did that for 28 years. So over the year, did you have to continue to get new volunteers or did you have some people that stuck it out with you guys?
A combination of both. I would be remiss if I didn't thank Top Teens of America and Glendia Jacobs, who every year would bring her teens to support Kwanzaa. And we've had other people over the years, but certainly you talk about the young people because there's also an opportunity for them not just to volunteer, but to also learn. And some of those kids came every year until they graduated high school.
Wow, that's amazing. And what about vendors? Did you have some vendors that were very, very persistent and stayed and came on an annual basis?
Yes. Same annual vendors, old vendors would come and go. One of the vendors that came every year was a book vendor on his reading room. Wonderful books, calendars, all kinds of stuff. She came every year. And so we always had the same vendors. They looked for that. They looked for Kwanzaa and they looked for Black history. So again, a long answer to your question about the person supporting. You have to support your mate in whatever it is they're pursuing. When I decided to go to graduate school, Lester supported me. And I think that is the key to anyone's professional success, is allowing that person to achieve his or her goals, dreams, and aspirations.
Now, talk about the Black History programs for a moment. We talked about the Kwanzaa. How did that come into play? Was that just one year Lester decided, you know what, we need to do some culturally enriching things for our culture? And do you remember what the first Black History program was by chance?
Well, Kwanzaa.
No, Black History.
The Black History program. I know you had what, Tony Brown, was it?
Black History.
Well, let's talk about this. The Tuskegee Airmen. Didn't you have those? Didn't you have those airmen? That was brilliant. And then now you see how we have that movie that Tyler Perry just did with the ladies. If Lester was still at it, he probably would have thought to bring them.
Probably. In fact, we will be recognizing my church will be recognized. I know this is kind of off the subject, but not. It is connected. There's a thread there. One of our church members, Mrs. Millie Veazey, is being recognized this weekend. Is
she one of them, or she's associated?
She was one of the 369.
Wow, you got to put me in contact with her. I would love to interview her.
She's passed on. I can put you in touch with her family. We are recognizing her. She's being recognized this weekend. In fact, Congresswoman Deborah Ross will be presenting the presentation at my church. I think it's Saturday afternoon.
And see, that's so important. And I see that someone put a comment. She said, I love the support, the admiration, and the patience they share with each other. She said, discipline is very important when living a successful lifestyle. That's right, Lene. And they've been together. How many years y'all been together?
It will be 25 years in July.
And so it takes patience to get through 25 years, doesn't it?
It does. It does. It takes patience, understanding. What else, Lester? Patience, understanding, respect. He talks a lot about respect. Patience, understanding, and respect. But back to your comment about the Tuskegee Airmen. Again, I just was always amazed at how Lester Wood, the day after Kwanzaa, he's planning Black History. We got to start planning. This is what I'm looking at. This is what I'm thinking. What about this theme? And a lot of the things had to do with community, respecting our elders, uplifting our children, understanding our history, where we came from, where we're going, building community. And so the Black History events were a little more tailored toward workshops, educational forums. But there was also a wonderful variety there. One year, I think Lester and some of his friends, cohorts, male friends in the business, did a workshop on financial planning and teaching young kids about the importance of saving.
Wow, that's amazing. Mm-hmm. So Lester, as far as you recall, do you think you're more passionate about Kwanzaa, or were you more passionate about the Black History program? Which one were you more passionate about?
Well, I would say that Kwanzaa was the biggest one, and then we had Black History, which was more came back into there, and then we had a lot of things. When I met Miss Bowen, she did so much great stuff to our community and thing when we seen her, because we were like going like really big. She had a big feast and I had my big feast, and we were going past like this. That's how we were moving. We were doing so much great in our community that our community did when we had people that needed people like us. Mm-hmm. And they knew the importance of, hey, you got a bob too. You got a job too. Come on over here and do what you got to do, and do what we do. So we're working together as a team. Mm-hmm. It's not just me or you. It started to grow because they knew the importance of being able to working together and putting what you need to do into your family and to our young and Black people. We had to make sure that they understood you are somebody, and you got somebody who loves you and who cares about you. And if you need help, we are here.
Yes.
That's what we did. We gave them what they need, that energy, that chase of people who loved you and cared about you. And we did that. And we were moving. We were like,
and you know what? I hear so much of that in him, Karen. And I take from that in those classrooms with those students, he would see and hear so many kids who left home. They were latchkey kids. Mm-hmm. Their parents weren't there. There was single parents raising. There was siblings raising. Some of them didn't eat. And he heard those stories. And that's why he's so passionate about, and that's why he talks about loving them and the energy. We had to put energy in them. And I have to tell y'all a story too, because the first time when I met Lester at Enloe, those kids that we were in the class with, what he's saying is so true, because I went over by the North Street in Raleigh. It was either that week or that day. I can't remember exactly but it was shortly after we saw those kids. And I remember because we were talking to the kids about encouraging them, and they were like, why should we be encouraged? My parents don't care. They left us, and that's what they were saying to us. And then I saw them that night that I saw them, and they were about to rob the store. But because I was in the classroom with them, with Lester, we were all in the classroom, giving them attention, giving them energy, giving them encouragement. Do you know those boys did not rob the store? Because I asked them not to, and because I reminded them that somebody does care. So it is important that we do what we do out here. It is important that we continue to have supportive people. If you're not the creator, if you're not the event coordinator, support those that are out there putting these events together, because the children need us. The parents need us. The community needs us, because together we're that village, together we make a big difference. So that's so important. You agree, Lester?
I do. You agree, Lester?
Of course.
That we make a difference?
Yeah, that we all make a difference. Now, I know that, Karen, now at this point, y'all are just enjoying yourself. Both of y'all are retired, right? So now it's just about enjoying life and just making sure you keep your health together and just kind of just enjoy the family. Is that correct? That's what we get. That's what everybody works for.
That is.
Right?
That is correct. Crystal, also, when we talked about Kwanzaa, we talked about Black history and how one just sort of emerged out of the other, back to back. And then we talked about Lester's education and, what inspired him to pursue his doctorate in adult education? What was it? Adult education?
Yeah.
Yes, adult education. And while we have this platform, and hopefully we'll come back, you'll have us back again.
Yes, ma'am.
Opportunity during this particular platform, during this conversation, Lester also created an event called, remember the Mega EduFest? There's so many, the mind was always, churning about what else can we do to expose youth, bring youth together. Very briefly, Mega EduFest was Lester's idea of an after-school event for middle schoolers and high schoolers.
Okay.
And I think he did it 3 years. And actually it was an event that was to bring kids in and get them ready for the summer. And to provide those resources to them from, say, Safe Child or all the anti-tobacco, marijuana, all those
keeping them off the drugs and keeping them safe in the street.
Organizations coming through to teach kids about how to apply for summer jobs. And so you would have all these different resource agencies from the county and the state and the city and several municipalities teaching them about what to do, exposing them to different choices. Because now you're out of school. Now what do? Do you hang out at the playground all day? And the last one we did was at Chavis Community. Because again, you have to bring it to the children, right? Yeah, bring it to the kids. And the last one we did was at Chavis Community Center. And the former congressman, he's deceased now, Henry McCoy, was the keynote speaker. And so imagine Chavis Community Center with resources and vendors all around, again, the perimeter of the gym. And then the bleachers are out and the kids are coming in, picking up goodies and all kinds of things. It was really And the keynote speaker was former Henry McCoy. He's now deceased. Came in his African outfit. He and Lester introduced the kids. And what Mr. McCoy did was have all the kids sit in a circle. Remember that?
Yeah.
He had all the kids sit in a circle. And he and Lester were in the center, really having an open dialogue, open conversation with these kids.
Wow.
So
That's amazing. That's amazing. So another way to pour into the children.
Yes,
So the mind never stopped. Lester, your mind never stopped. You were always thinking of ways to do something in the community to create. So the Ujima, that pronounce it. I don't want to say it wrong. So pronounce Ujima. Is that correct?
Is that correct? The Ujima
Is that
group?
how I pronounce the name of it? Ujima?
The Ujima group.
The Ujima group. So now, since you guys are retired, is the Ujima group no longer doing anything, or is somebody else going to carry it on, or just kind of like just you done?
That's a good question, Crystal.
Because you know, if the children, a lot of times when we want to, when we build a legacy and we create these things, we would love it if our children would carry on, but sometimes they don't have an interest and they don't want to. So your children, I know they are very talented and they probably don't have an interest in carrying on, or do they? Do they have an interest on making sure that any of the things keep going?
I think they, I don't think either one of us can speak for them. I imagine though that their career choices allows them to carry on the legacy and to carry on those values that Lester has instilled in them anyway. Be it in civic engagement through their work professionally in social work, or legislative government work, or education. I think they all can find a way to touch and carry on what the village stands for in our community.
I think you're right, because Lester told me about his daughter. She's doing some amazing things, right, Lester?
Yeah.
She's doing some amazing things out there in her career with the government, or in policies, or the political arena. So I know she's very ambitious and she has aspirations there. That's really good. A couple of more things I want to point out, and then I won't keep you long. Lester always presented himself professional, sharp, clean cut. So I know that was also a message that you probably always taught the young men, Lester, how they need to look, how they need to present themselves, because you were always well dressed. So did you talk to the men about that? Did you mentor the guys and talk to them a lot about how they need to look, like not walk around with your pants down and stuff? Did you talk to them about how they need to dress and their image?
Well, I knew the importance of, if you want to look like positive things, you have to take care of yourself that way. You just can't be walking around a way that you don't want to present yourself, because people are going to look at you and say you're not taking the time to do the job right. And we had so many people that wanted to be supported. Whatever you wanted to do, they will see that you will tell them, I will try and help me. And we wanted to help them in any way we could. And they were really good people, because they knew the importance of that. If you're going to do right, they're going to help you do right. And
I bet you that's the message you told those kids. I can hear him telling them now, Karen, that look, they're not going to take you serious if you don't look the part. You got to look the part. And Lester always looked the part. That's one thing I'll say. He always looked the part. So that is a beautiful thing. I commend you on that, because that's why he's looked up to like he is. He always carried himself professional, and, always did what he had to do. You know what I'm saying? He did what he had to do. Now, Karen, let me ask you something about you. Did you put some dreams on hold to help him, or was you able to still go ahead and do the things you wanted to do? Because we know what you did to help him, but tell us, do you have anything that you did? Like, did you write any books, or do you have anything that we need to know about that you do as an individual? Because you still are an individual.
Oh, thank you so much. I am still an individual. Yes, I am. I have my own identity. I won't necessarily say that I put dreams or aspirations on hold. I will say that it's a lot if you have two adults in a home who are also working professionals trying to pursue advanced degrees. I believe in something I learned from a minister in Los Angeles. everything happens at the appointed time. The appointed time for Lester to pursue his MBA and his doctorate in education was before my appointed time to pursue my master's degree. When it became time for me to go back to school, I did that. Lester was well on his way. He was doing well. He had finished all of his schoolwork, and now it was my time. It's kind of like that song, It's Your Time. It was my time in 2017. And I dare say that it was an enjoyable time. So I got my master's degree in communications and social change. And so to piggyback and answer a question that you asked about what is the future of the Ujima Group and where do we see the organization going? How do you continue that legacy? I do believe there is an opportunity for that. Yes, we are retired. And is there a plan to do something in the future? I tell Les all the time, I'm retired. I'm not trying to do anything. But we always have those conversations, right? We always have those conversations about there is more to do. What does that look like? I think the Ujima Group can redefine itself, which is something that Lester started doing about 3 years ago. And when we look at that, even this opportunity right here presents another methodology for how the Ujima Group can connect with community and can still get messages out and can still encourage people and can still talk to young folks. It doesn't have to be on a stage, in an auditorium, or in a gymnasium. It can be exactly this right here. Because we're now living in the age of, we're now in the digital age.
Social media, digital, that's it. And yes,
virtual.
Yes.
The convenience of home with a computer and the internet connection.
Yes.
And so I think for now, we should just put a pin in that and look to see what the future may hold.
Well, I want you to always remember that I'm here, Karen. I want you to remember that and just know that when you do decide, give me a call. You know what I mean? Because I always have been a person that supported Lester and what he does. So y'all are a team. So that means I would support you. So if y'all decide to do something, please remember to call me. You have my number. You have my information. You know how to reach me. And if ever you think of something that if y'all wanted to do, like what you just said, because I do a lot of collaborations with individuals on certain topics, because it's about inspiring, empowering, and educating. So there are places and segments and slots where we could perhaps talk about a way to bring that to fruition, for sure. And I see that somebody just said something. Let me see. Teen Campus, Miss Lillian Thomas is a very proud mother today, looking down on Les from heaven. She is smiling from cheek to cheek. And that's what Teen Campus just wrote. And Teen Campus also says, excellent salute to great community work. Thank you so much, Teen Campus, for that, because it's good to be able to tell people what you think while they can hear it. You know what I mean? I think it's wonderful. And one of the things I want y'all to do, like I said in the beginning, when you share this is going to be available for replay. A lot of times when I do these interviews, afterwards, months later, people see it, they comment on it, and they still make comments about the individual when they go back and replay it. So that's the beautiful thing about it. And then I always make sure I give it back to the individual. Now, is there anything that you would like individuals to know that I didn't ask you about in regards to Lester as an individual, as a businessman, as a family man? Anything that I did not ask that you think he would want individuals to know?
Let's see, Lester.
Yes.
Crystal, I was thinking when you asked about Kwanzaa and Lester bringing it here because he felt that void in our community in this area, in the Triangle region. I would dare say, and Lester, please correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe you want to share your story about how you met Baba Chuck in New York and what that inspiration, that relationship was like.
Yes, I
Oh,
will.
Baba Chuck was the man. Yes. How did you meet him, Lester?
Baba Chuck was such a good man because he taught me how to deal with people. Even though I wasn't the best, he taught me how to deal with people, how to learn from him. He would never make you feel that you were not capable. And his way of teaching me ways to do ways of things, it made me become better. And as I learned from him, he never made me feel like I was dumb or ignorant or didn't do it. It made me better. And he always was a great person who understood of how to deal with people. And he would talk to me what I didn't know. And he never put me down. And Baba made me so much better. And he used always to check on me and talk with me and say, come over here, Lester, and talk with me. And that was so encouraging to have someone who has so much talent and that would help me to understand how to deal with that and to become better. And when he passed away, it was very, 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 very hard. And to see that happen, and it was touching to me.
Yeah, Baba Chuck was very, very special. We share the same birthday, as a matter of fact. So we always laughed about that because we're fellow Capricorns. And so, Chris, also another person that was very influential, very supportive was Iman, Kenneth Muhammad, and Miss Margaret Rose Murray.
Yeah. Oh, it was not on the sound.
Crystal, unmute your mic.
Margaret Rose Murray, thank you, was someone that I truly, I think I included her in the slideshow. I meant to because I know she was a pillar for sure. Make sure you take a look at what I just wrote you in the private chat too. But Margaret Rose Murray was amazing. Right. Lester, what do you remember about Margaret Rose Murray? How you met her, or what do you want to say about Margaret Rose Murray, Lester?
Miss Murray was such a person that would help you through thick and bad. She was so, as I said, never make you feel like you're nobody. Even if you didn't have something or was hungry or something, whatever it was, she always encouraged you and never said anything bad. If you were in a good time or bad time, she would always encourage you and always give you food to eat.
A great historian. Miss Margaret Rose Murray was a great historian, right? She was a great historian and very supportive.
Right.
Very, very supportive. She and God rest their souls. They've all passed away. But those are kind of people in our community that we stand on their shoulders, right?
That's right.
Baba Chuck always talked about peace, love, and respect for everybody.
That's right.
And I can't remember Mrs. Murray always had, she said, what is it? The art of living is giving. I may not have that quite correct, but it was something about the art of living and that the art of living was giving. And she and Mr. Murray and Baba Chuck gave so much to our community. We miss them, and we certainly miss the fact that every Saturday morning, everyone tuned in to WSHA from 9 to 12.
That's right.
For all kinds of information from, Brother Cash Michaels, an amazing journalist, is also someone that supported the Ujima Group and the work we did. There's just so many people. I could go on and on and on and on and on. And I know that at some point in time we have to end this discussion, but there are just so many people who actually supported us in so many different ways, with sharing wisdom and knowledge and how to do a thing, showing up, spreading the word. And so we are just really grateful for those pillars in our community.
And then when I look at this right here, when I look at this and I think about all the things that you guys did just over the years, when you look at this, what comes to your mind when you look at this banner right here?
Oh my gosh. So this young lady right here is Jessica Alicon. Yeah. She was in one of your first Kwanzaa celebrations. Gosh, there's my little goddaughter right there. Baba Chuck, the African American Dance Ensemble. That's one of the first this is actually this dancer down here in the corner is the first Kwanzaa celebration. Oh my gosh. He's a Tuskegee Airman up here and a local historian, Mr. Leonard Hunter.
And what's the brother name? I forgot his name.
Vincent right there. Just so many good people. The vendors.
That's Shaddy's baby.
Yeah.
And how about this one? There
it is. Thank you.
Yeah.
I was gonna help you out a little bit.
Yeah. Help me out. Help me out. Yes, beautiful. Great performers.
Yeah.
All our supporters.
This is like a glimpse of just everything, Lester, and we thank you for this. We thank you for this picture right here. We thank you for this vision. We thank you for being obedient to bringing it to pass. All these different things. I mean, all these moments for the two of you. And look, you got a star. Where did somebody give you a star at?
Oh, that was, oh gosh. His name is Vegas Don. He has a nonprofit organization called Campaign for Change. And every year he would do an annual event where he would recognize individuals in the community who individuals and organizations in the community doing great work. And when he did this Walk of Fame star. And so we got a Walk of Fame, Lester got a Walk of Fame star recognition for the work he did in Kwanzaa Black history. We featured him one year at Black History. He and his organization presented a play. And the essence of the play, when we talk about youth and values and character and integrity and respect for self, the essence of the story was about two young men growing up in the same community. One is going off to his job at, I don't know, Burger King or McDonald's or whatever. And the other young man is hustling. The other, the hustler says, hey man, I can make more money in an hour than you do in a week at McDonald's. And so the tug of war between these two young men was, do I go down this path and where will it lead me? Or do I stay on this path because it may lead to something greater and better? And so it was an excellent play that Vegas Don wrote, because it was sort of a story about his own life and his own struggles between the street and doing what was right.
Wow. Well, I just want to thank you for this. And I'm looking at one more picture that comes to mind, and that's this right here. when I look at this right here, you know, the way that Lester always presented himself, we thank you for that, because the posture was always so strong. The posture was always so strong. And so that right there says so much. And we just want to tell you, thank you for having that posture. Thank you for being that person in the community and for doing what you do. We want to thank you for just being this person and giving us all of these memories that you gave us over the years with the Eugenia Group. We thank you for all of these years, for all of these events. This is just a snapshot, but we just thank you for this, Lester, for being obedient. And even with the Black History and all the other things that you had, we can't say thank you enough, man. We can't say thank you enough. We are honored to be able to give you your flowers, and we just appreciate you. And I see someone said there's Kayla. She said there's Kayla.
Yeah.
Kayla's in there. So that's good. So I will ask you, because I know that I don't want to keep you guys too long. I want to let you be able to get your rest. Is there anything I didn't ask you that you'd like to speak about? If not, then I'll allow you to give me some closing comments as we bring this to a close right now. But I just want to say, Lester, I'm so grateful to be able to have this conversation with you about the amazing things you did, about the amazing person that you are, and your heart, for being the man that you are, of integrity and having a good heart, and just being a pillar. I mean, the proclamations, the legacy awards, and all those things were definitely warranted for you.
I just want to thank you very much, because when you try to help somebody, it comes back to you. When you see you're doing something good, it always comes back to you. And in my life, I always wanted to feel that I was making to help. It's not just what you give, it's what you give back to your community. And I'm just blessed to have had the opportunity to see people like you and yourself to be out here and to do the great things that you have done over the years. And it made all of us to be with a part of what we had to do. And by doing that, it made me feel so much better, and feeling so much better, and feeling like I'm doing something that's really of worth to our family, to our community, and to our people. And I'm just very, very thankful and helpful that I could be of help to someone. And I thank God for that.
And we thank God for you. We do. We want you to take care of yourself and keep doing what you're doing. So now you have done all your good deeds. So now you can rest and take care of yourself. And Karen, y'all take care of each other and just travel, enjoy life, and call me when y'all decide to do something. You know, I'm a phone call away. You know, any closing comments that you would like to make, Karen?
Just one. Lester has a motto: we don't want to leave without people understand, because any of us can embrace it. It's called working together works. Working together works. And so, you know, the Ujima is one of the Kwanzaa principles, which means collective work and responsibility.
You got it.
I got it.
Yeah. See, she got it.
And so,
was I talking that much?
I learned a lot, you know, collective work and responsibility. I would imagine that one of the reasons Lester chose that particular principle to name his organization after, because of his learning as a young man, working, being responsible, right? Those foundational things that we all are taught in our homes, right? Respect others. And so working together works. And so when we all come together and we pull all those principles together, the Harambe circle, right? Where we all hold hands and we're all pulling and saying at the same time, Harambe, all those things are the embodiment of the Ujima group, Black community, Black history. I don't want to get on a soapbox. And so we can never, ever forget or let anyone, try to change our history at any time. And so I just want to leave with thanking you first, Crystal, for wanting to share Lester's story with your audience. I want to thank our friends that joined in. Yes, Lester has swag.
You see that, right?
But okay. And I just want to thank you for giving him his flowers today. Yeah.
I think it's so important because we miss the opportunity a lot of times. People miss it, man. And I want to say, like, if you don't learn nothing today from this, like, let people know how you feel. Let people know if you appreciate them. Tell them, you know what I'm saying? Tell them. I mean, don't take no time for granted. There's no day like the present. You have to do that, because we don't know what tomorrow brings. We just don't know. So I think it's important. So collectively, we definitely, I like that. Working together works. I like that. That's good. I never realized that, but Lester was tickled when you said that. He was like, "Oh, you got it. You got it." Mm-hmm. Yeah, she listening. Listen.
I listen. I tell them that all the time. I listen.
Well, I appreciate you guys. I'm gonna let you guys go and get you some rest, and I am too. And I look forward to the call, and I'll be back out there to visit y'all. And like I said, I'm a phone call away.
Oh yeah,
definitely. And when the wheels start turning again, even if you can't do it and you need me and we, to do something less than like, we'll make it happen. We'll make it happen. We'll get the job done. But until then, y'all just, if this is your first time on Story Time, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to do, if you recall in the very beginning, I said something in the beginning. I said, like, share, and comment. And so we'd like it if you do that. If you will like, share, and comment on here. Some of you have been commenting. And then afterwards, the video will be available for replay. So share it to those that may not have been able to come now and let them know so they can still watch it. And you can still leave a comment. And I will make sure Lester gets it. I will make sure. If you've ever attended one of his events, if you've ever been to one of the Kwanzaas or anything, if your student took his class and they told you about that teacher who they really got something, leave a comment and I'll make sure he gets it. It's important that we do that, And if you are looking for stories to inspire you, I promise if you go down my list of my playlist, you might find something you can connect to. Here you heard about Lester Thomas and how he wants to empower. There are so many others. So please take out your time. I'm Crystal Bodie Smith, and I'm your Hope Catalyst. And my mission is to stir up the gift, instill hope, and save lives. You've been listening to Storytime. We're here on Wednesdays and Sundays at 8 p.m. Eastern. And we have a lineup for you. My. We have a heck of a lineup. I think my next show is Wednesday with Family Promise of Wake County, who is helping people to not be homeless. They're eradicating homelessness and they're doing things in the area. They just opened something up in Durham. So check it out. It's going to be really, really good. All right. And so many good shows. I mean, I can't even tell you all of them. I just tell you, just subscribe and turn on your notifications. In the meantime, thank you once again. Much love to you. I love you guys. Have an amazing evening. Thank everybody for watching. Thank everybody in advance for sharing and commenting and letting everybody know you've been listening to Storytime. Hang tight while we close this out, and we'll look for you next time. Okay. If you have a story, your story matters. Please send me a comment and let me know you have a story that you want to share, and we'll make that happen too. Okay. Have a great evening, Lester. Yes, sir.
Could we leave ourselves in prayer?
Yes. Yes.
It was on that, Karen, with your shares and prayer.
Oh, you want me?
As a group, all
Okay.
about, yeah.
Okay. Very quickly,
Yeah.
I'll make it very
I'll let you leave us in prayer. And right after the prayer, it's going to go into the closing to just hang out to the end. So yes. I'll let you leave us in prayer, please.
All right, let us pray. Heavenly Father, we want to thank you for this time, this opportunity with Crystal and Lester, just to share and talk about the work that Lester has done. Lord, you created him. And so the work that he's done, you also created. And so we want to thank you for the things that he has done and for the things that he is doing and for the things that he will do in the future. We also want to thank Crystal for having the inspiration to want to bring Lester's story to a virtual community. We hope that others will share their stories and follow and like and comment. And we just want to thank you for this time of fellowship with friends from as far as Dallas, from as far as Texas and Georgia and other communities who took the time to turn off negative news and to listen to something more positive and uplifting in our community. So, Father God, we just want to thank you for this time. And with that, I will close. And everyone have a wonderfully blessed week. Amen.
Amen.
A catalyst for change with the chance to thrive. Crystal is the one to stir up gifts and save lives. You get exposure, promotion, and marketing too. And advertise for business owners just like you. On Storytime, your interview is global. Virtual or in person, just come on the show. Yo, your story matters. Crystals will open the door. 40 years of experience, ready to give you more on Storytime. Get ready for Storytime. Hey, come on.